Hello everyone and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the running of the Ally 350 here in the Crown Royal Truck Series. With only 2 races left before we crown our champion and a landslide lead for Matthew Eaves and Antoine Smith, those two only separated by 9 points, but a full 64 points back to Ryan Butcher in the field. A lot of these guys are hoping for a 48 and 00 DNQ this weekend, but if not, they have to finish pretty far back for any of these guys to have a shot heading into Kansas. Matthew Eaves and Antoine Smith have such a big race lead that if either of them finish in the top 10, third on back to 10th, all the chase contenders that aren't them are eliminated from the Crown Royal Truck Series fight for the championship. Eaves starts this race 4th. Antoine Smith starts at 12th. Eric Monaco and Jose Perez are on the front row. Monaco enters this 82 points back in the 4th position. Jose Perez eliminated from, not eliminated from championship competition. After last week, a great run at Iowa, he actually is only 85 back in 5th, gaining 3 spots from last week at Iowa. A big shout out to Roger Ray, bringing the Aunt Jemima number 90 for KGM up to 3rd. Again, Matthew Eaves in 4th, and Eli Bright in his penultimate truck race in 5th. Alex Peters sits 6th. Peters sits 90 points back in the 6th position in points. He needs a miracle run today. Daniel Kobza eliminated from the championship. He rolls off 7th. William Duncan 8th. Another big shout out to John Dilks getting the TRD 71 in 9th. And Colton Lane rounds out your top 10. We're looking the rest of the way through the grid. Antoine Smith rolls off 12th in that 00 truck. Austin Johnson eliminated from the championship fight. He's 152 points back. That's almost 3 races behind. In the chase is Austin Johnson. He rolls off right there. Riley Spurleytube was eliminated from championship contention last week at Iowa. Heartbreaking for the 28, and he starts right by the guy that got into him at Iowa, though, of course, that probably was more of a racing incident than Vince Freeze's fault. They start side by side this weekend in the 17th and 18th position. Anderson Reed rolls off 20th for the 63 truck. Looking further back, there's Zach Rogers in 24th. He moves on to, I believe, BGM next season in the Crown Royal Truck Series. Diego Yepes, a runner-up finish at Iowa in that 89 truck. He rolls off, though, 29th in the final truck start, I believe, for him this season for Shepherd. And give a shout-out to Maxwell Fye. It's only 31st, but for a team that's been struggling to make races and finish up front at all, a 31st place run is very good. Meanwhile, Stephen Wallace Jr. and Ryan Butcher, those two are trying to fight and stay within a race behind. Butcher is 3rd in points, 64 back, so Butcher's the closest to being in the title fight, but he still needs to finish about 10 positions ahead of the 00 and 48 this race. I believe Stephen Wallace Jr. is actually eliminated from championship competition. Zachary Fitzwater's in the 32 truck for the final 2 races of his career before his son takes over driving duties next season as he makes his debut in the Dr. Pepper Dash Series. Zachary Fitzwater, again, closing out a career, but it's been a fantastic season with a couple good highlights, especially running up front last week. Having some good runs at road courses, but sad to see him go. 2 races left before he calls it a career. There is Sebastian Kukulon in the 75. He's fighting for a cup title. So if I was Kukulon, I'd be running this truck very nicely. Don't get any crashes. This could be a very scary place to get involved in an accident. We've seen a lot of big crashes here at Atlanta before, but we got 10 guys still fighting for the championship. We're still fighting for positions all throughout the field. We got a great race on show today. Let's go down trackside for the commands to fire the engines here at Atlanta.
Drivers, start your engines!
With that, the engines are fired. We're rolling off here for 65 laps at the Ally 350. Monaco Perez lead us down, 90 and 48 in row 2. 40 trucks in the grid. A lot of guys looking for a race win. A lot of guys looking for points. Only a few looking to make a chance at the title hunt. Matthew Eaves, Antoine Smith separated by 9 points in the championship fight. That's not a lot of positions up here. You got some guys 64, 82, 85, 90 points back with Butcher, Monaco, Perez, and Peters. They're going to need at least 10 spots or more ahead just to barely squeak in to have a mathematical chance. If they want a realistic chance heading into Kansas, they need the 48 and 00 pretty much 30th or worse with some top 10s and top 5s out of those guys to gain a lot of points. If not, though, what it's looking like as this chase has been. It's the 48-0 possibly going into Kansas, but we have 65 laps here at Atlanta. This track is dangerous. We've had a lot of big crashes, a lot of carnage at Atlanta. We'll see how these guys do in the penultimate race of the season. You're going to have to make aggressive moves. You got to get the spots you can, especially if you're in those points positions. We'll see how it goes. Monaco and Perez leading us down the field of 40, ready to go racing here at Atlanta. Monaco and Perez, green flags in the air, and we're racing at the Ally 350. And the 90 of Ray does not get going on that restart, or on the start of the race. He's going to drop already to 6th, it looks like. Monaco looking for the race lead. Eaves is right there. Alex Peters up to 4th after starting 6th. Looking for a move on Matthew Eaves now as they come down the back straightaway. Perez down to the inside of Monaco. Eli Bright right up to the quarter panel of the 45. That's the dangerous part of the track, is turn 3. Actually, either of the entrances of the corners, because you could get into someone and spin them around very easily, as Jose Perez is going to lead that lap. Eaves up to 2nd, Monaco to 3rd, and now Eaves looking for that race lead if he can get it. Eli Bright, one truck around, that's Gatlin Downey in front of the field. Alex Fletcher's in it in the 46, and immediately in this race, 2 trucks around and torn up as we are under caution for the first time. And now Cordell Smith, you better not enter on the apron into turn number 3 here. Looks like Faye is going to be the one dropping slow there. Cordell's actually trying to maintain it on the apron. Gets into the 22 right there. Rest of the field coming on around. We're under caution for the first time. Perez led us around. 3 laps complete as we already have a big hit for Alex Fletcher. His day will be done in the 46 truck. And we'll see if anyone will come down pit road or not. Alex Peters there in the 45 trying to get himself back in line. He is actually 4th. Jose Perez trying to get himself into victory lane today, trying to beat the number 48 truck. Antoine Smith was actually behind that incident with Gatlin Downey. Antoine's fallen back to 17th on the opening start. Started on the outside. Looks like maybe some split strategy here with Eli Bright, John Dilks, Roger Ray. Cobb's already looking to the apron. No, it does not look like it. Perez is going to lead him down, so 3 laps in. We've seen this a lot in the NSDCA. Early cautions, it usually brings the whole field down. And I mean, if you're the leader, it's kind of dangerous. If you're at the back, you know, you could stay out here, get a lot of track position, or you could come in, just top off kind of, and reset this race. If you want to get new tires maybe, or just top off on fuel. But we'll see what this call is for these teams as they come down to their pit stops for service. Here, a bit of a tight pit road. The 94, kind of 90 and 4 getting kind of held up there. And it's going to be a splash and go for the 35. He's going to head on out. 44 right behind him. Now, tires do get chewed up here at Atlanta. I don't know how much they'd be chewed up in 2 laps. Looks like a 2-tire call for some. Eaves is going to fall back a little bit. So will Peters. There's Antoine Smith coming off. The 90 is going to drop right to the back. Some contact on pit road between the 97 and 8 as the 8 came out of his box. Rest of the field looping on by. 2-truck incident for the first caution of the day. We'll get a quick replay, bring us back to the action here at Atlanta. As we said, this is the dangerous part about Atlanta. It's the corners. Austin Johnson sends it in. Downey went a little low, and the 19 goes into the wall. Alex Fletcher nowhere to go. Gets some contact with Jesse Turner up there, but they go around there. Alex Fletcher's day done here at Atlanta. Back live here at the Ally 350. Ryan Butcher, a flat tire on the 17. After that tire change, they're going to come back down, try to tighten that up. He already made his way up into the top 25. Now he's going back down pit road. Gatlin Downey still out on track. Alex Fletcher out of this race. Gatlin Downey sits 1 lap down in that 19 truck, so he'll be looking for a Fago free pass here soon. Jose Perez, Daniel Cobbza, William Duncan, Eric Monaco, Vince Freeze, your top 5 with McShane, Aiden Smith, Austin Johnson, Eaves in 9th, Matt Sladek 10th, Alex Peters back to 11th, Antoine Smith 13th, Ryan Butcher at the tail end of this field, and that is your chase contenders that we're really watching for these points. It is the 35, 45, the 4, and the 17. Those guys still can have a shot if they can finish far enough ahead. 48 and 00, though. If the 48 and 00 pretty much finish top 10, the only one that would be able to get past him is possibly Ryan Butcher with a race win, but that is going to be now an uphill battle with only 59 laps to go, and now starting at the tail end of the field, even further back than the double file restarts. It's about a 2 times length from the double file restart to every other restart in the NSDCA. No double file restarts there. Single file is the best way to go, and now you see Ryan Butcher at the very back of your screen. There he is at the very tail end, just heading through turn 3. Going to be an uphill battle for Ryan Butcher, but it's a battle up front for the race lead. Green flags back in the air as Perez and Kobza already going at it into turn 1. And Monaco going to try to make short work of William Duncan. Monaco and Perez, 2 of the 4 guys that need these points, need a good point stay here with the 48 and 00 struggling, but that's not going to happen. You see Eaves already there. Antoine might have been looking for a 3-wide move on teammate Matt Sladek. Not going to happen. Riley Spurley versus Alex Peters right behind him. Peters another one in that title fight. Coming off the corner, you see the whole field. One truck coming down pit road. That's Ryan Butcher again. Don't know if there's another issue on the 17 or maybe he has a restart violation, but Ryan Butcher, that is going to pretty much take him out of the hunt. And I think he is definitely serving a penalty, probably on the 19 truck. We'll see if Downey will meet minimum speed. But that's going to put Ryan Butcher pretty much a lap down here as he's going to come back off of pit road, going a lap down. Going to have to fight for that free pass, and that is going to pretty much seal the deal for Ryan Butcher's championship hopes in the 17. His fight for the title is over. Kobza and Monaco now chasing Jose Perez. Monaco looking for any spot he can get around this 35. Both of these guys sit 82, 85 points back respectively. Need about 8 or 9 spots in this front group to be able to get it. Oh, one truck around. No, the 82. Real slow there. Might have been some contact with them coming in. I don't see any mechanical issue. Might have been some contact with the 82 because the 48 was on the apron. It looks like the 82 has some right side damage. So William Duncan got in some contact with someone as they go. And here's a flyby down the back straightaway, but we're going to replay as fast as we can for the 82 truck of William Duncan. And that is going to cost him from 3rd all the way back, pretty much out of the top 20, as Eaves is now ahead, or Antoine Smith is now ahead of Matthew Eaves, and that's the other title fight we're looking at, because Antoine is only 9 back from Eaves. That is 5 positions up here in this top 15 with how the points format is. And to make a quick note, the NSDCA will be changing the points format slightly next season, still running the chase for the Trucks and Cup Series. The fans really enjoy that format. Makes for some dramatic races here at the end in what could be locked up positions as the caution is out, but we will have new formats next season. And heartbreaking for Butcher, he has to try to catch Gatlin Downey, and he's not going to. Downey should get the free pass, and Butcher will not. So the caution comes out at the wrong time for Ryan Butcher. It's Nicky Morris going around, and Butcher will not be back on the lead lap. It will go to Gatlin Downey. Unless Downey was involved in the crash, I don't think he was. Downey did also meet minimum speed. He was keeping very good pace with the 75-32 and the rest. So Downey should be cleared of the damaged vehicle policy. Jose Perez out in front. We'll see if they come back down. Again, Atlanta chews up tires and spits them out, so it's probably a good call to come down and get some tires. But we'll see if the whole field will come down or not. It looks like they will again. So teams going through tires real quick here. They want the freshest rubber to make these biggest moves, and I don't think anyone wants to be caught out. 12 laps in on tires would be a bit of a worn time there, especially for some who have made some contact like William Duncan, and I don't know who it was with. Again, we'll get the replay probably on this caution period for that, or it was already on your screens. But coming down pit road, Perez and Monaco real close again into pit road. Monaco had to slow up there. And now I think is the time that some of these guys will take some tires. Looks like Monaco's going for left sides, Perez going for rights, and Austin Johnson's going to be leading them out of pit road. Monaco's second Spurley tube's up there. Here comes Eaves. Perez a long time on those right sides. Might be repairing something. There's real close as the 90 and 0 are having a great time on pit road. 2 and 3 wide coming off, and Perez could have just lost the championship right here. They're taking a long time on the right sides. I think they're repairing something on that 35 truck. And that is going to cost him a great deal with someone else on pit road. That's William Duncan. problems for Jose Perez, and that's going to pretty much take him out possibly of the championship fight as well. It was an uphill battle. He was 5th, 85 back. But we're going to see if he even goes a lap down here, because they are taking a very long time working on that 35 truck there. And William Duncan, too, they're repairing visible damage on the 82. Might be some undercarriage damage on the 35. Maybe that's why he's jacked up like that. Duncan's now coming off a pit road. And here comes the pace truck catching up to Perez. It's crossing the line right now. Something's up with the 35 team. I don't know what it is. He's going to have to go. And they're out of the race! The 35's out of the race. An engine failure on the 35, and that is going to take Jose Perez out of the championship fight. Heartbreaking for GDI, but it was a very uphill battle, a major long shot if anything was to happen. And that takes now 2 of the 6 guys that were fighting for points out of this one, with Butcher having that issue, and I believe a illegal restart, as well as a blown engine for the 35. We'll get a quick replay of Nicky Morris's incident, bring us back to the action here at Atlanta. Extremely similar to the first incident. Patrick Smith's going to get into the back of Nicky Morris and just sends the 7 around for a light spin. Thankfully, no one else hits him as they all go right on by. As Butcher gets real close to it, though. Nicky Morris around, second caution of the day. Lights on the pace truck have gone out. Gatlin Downey received the Fago free pass. Ryan Butcher still the only one trapped a lap down. Jose Perez out of this race. Austin Johnson leads after taking fuel only. Eric Monaco second. Riley Spoitube third. Vince Freeze fourth. Matthew Eaves in fifth. Daniel Cobbs the sixth. Aiden Smith seventh. Antoine Smith eighth. Pre McShane ninth. Stephen Wallace Jr. up to 10th after starting near the back. Alex Peters sits 16th. And Ryan Butcher sits all the way back at the very back as Colton Yo is blowing up in that 11 truck from the 29th position. So we'll have to see if the NSDCA will possibly call a quick yellow to continue that, because they do not want a blown up car on the racetrack if they are going to hold up the back half of the grid here. As they go, Gatlin Downey getting his free pass. Butcher the only one a lap down. The 82's repaired that truck as we come on around. And the 11, they will wave everyone by the 11 as he's taking a nice slow time. Coming back around, 15 to 65. There's going to be 49 laps to go when we go back racing. And we'll see what will happen with Austin Johnson, Monaco, and Spurleytube up front. Monaco, the only one still fighting for points and for a title if he can get some spots on the 48 and 00. Not much he can do, though. It's up to the rest of the grid. Green flags back in the air. We're racing once again at Atlanta. Monaco jumps up. Man, these leaders are not getting great restarts as Johnson might have spun the tires there. Monaco's going to jump to the outside. Spurleytube tried to go with him, but that's going to open the door for Eaves on the inside now as the Ford's going to carry on, and Monaco's going to try to take and will take the race lead away from Austin Johnson. Eaves back there in second looking for that spot now as they come through the corner, as you got the top 8 or so kind of spread out, not single file, but spread out from the field, as we got a big battle for the lead. Spurleytube looked for it. Johnson went down, blocked him. Monaco leads that lap, but now Johnson is right in front of Spurleytube. No, real slow into turn number 1 there. It goes the 77, and that's going to cost him a ton of time. 3 wide back there, 2 and 3 wide. It's very scary to be in the pack. A lot of cars at the back kind of spread out, though, as it looks like Patrick Smith came down pit road. An engine issue on the 94. So that is now the third Dodge engine issue. We had the 35 blow up, we had the 11 blow up, and it's been a piston on both of them. And now you have the 94 down pit road. They're under the hood on that. If that's another piston issue, I think the Ange Auto guys, the Sauber guys, the TSR guys have to be worried about their engines possibly cooking in this heat down here in October, Atlanta. Antoine Smith now fighting teammate Aiden Smith, sleek and swift in the 83. He's been this season, almost made the chase if he just was able to sneak a wild card spot, with Ryan Butcher staying inside the top 10 or top 8 in points. As Antoine, a big move to the outside on Freeze. That's a good thing too. The track grip is so loose. Once you get on worn tires in a race, inside outside can work. It just depends on how you're running. And you see Austin Johnson on a bit older tires than the field, about 12 laps older in the 77, and he is losing already a ton of time, back to 5th and dropping even faster. Are we single file or are we under caution? Because up front we have a choo-choo train going as they come down, snaking down this back straightaway. Eric Monaco pulling away as fast as he can. He knows he can't really do anything outside of spinning out the 48 and double zero. And if you do that, you could get a penalty for that. So he knows that it's the rest of the field that has to fight that 48 and double zero. He just needs to win the race and do everything he can. Monaco has never won an NSDCA event, but he is in the chase with his teammate Daniel Kobza, who has also never won an NSDCA event. Who has never won a Crown Royal Truck Series event. He does have, I believe, 4 wins in the Mountain Dew Custom Series in that 44 car that he ran last season to a title. Side by side for third as Eaves is now into second, has his sights set on Monaco, not what the field wants to see, not what Antoine wants to see either. Now, something interesting that we have failed to mention this entire chase, I just realized it a couple weeks ago and have not mentioned it on the broadcast, but Antoine Smith theoretically should be the guy in the 48 truck if just one thing went different. 2 years ago, when his contract season was up at Evernham, TSR offered him a contract, but he offered him too early in the contract negotiation cycle, causing the contract to go invalid, the offer to be invalid, and for no one, and for TSR not to be able to offer him said contract for that season. So what did he do? He got the call from SBR. They took him to the Truck Series and put him in the 00 truck. He had a mediocre rookie season, I'll say. He had a great run, solid run in the 00. I believe a top 20 finish as we see this battle for the race lead going on between Eaves and Monaco. But then Antoine, he could have went this year, but he was in a multi-contract year, came back to SBR, and with the 48 seat vacant, Jefferson had really a limited choice of drivers, so he took Matthew Eaves, and Eaves is really impressing. But if it was for last season, remember, Jefferson only stepped into the 48 truck because Galloway was out of it. Antoine could have been in that 48 truck last year and this year and could have been fighting for championships. Now, TSR has to try to win with Eaves and show that it was a bad deal for the 00, for Antoine Smith to take the 00. Now, I wouldn't say it's a bad deal because he has come off of 3 wins this season. His first 3 wins in the NSDCA, had none in the Mountain Dew Custom Series with Evernham, and as he is going for a move down the back straightaway, be careful there. He backs out of it smartly because I don't think Kobza was going to give him enough room. But this is really for TSR to show Antoine that they made a mistake, and to beat him in the championship would be big. So this is a very much more important than just a title for TSR and SBR. It is about bragging rights with the young phenom Antoine Smith and the old vet Matthew Eaves going at it for this championship. And Eaves knows he has to win this race, put some more points between him and the 00. And Eaves sits here now, only 9 points entering this race between them. Antoine was really far behind, honestly, entering the chase. He was about 50 points back, I believe, entering the chase. Got into the chase, gained about 20 points, I think, on Eaves, and now he is right there on his back bumper. If this was the regular season points format, 1, of course, they would race differently, but 2, Antoine Smith would not have a shot at the title. Eaves would be your champion already. As the caution is out, we got a crash in turn 1. Big hits for multiple drivers there. On-Jack skirts through it. Austin Johnson's in it, so the old tires do not work for Johnson. Logan Bradley's also involved. Heavy hits for Gunnar Matheson. And Eaves will lead us back to the caution. 26 of 65 complete. Still trying to shuffle back up. The 75, Sebastian Kukl on his day is done. Thankfully, we're seeing him drive back. Atlanta, heavy hits could shake you up, and he needs to be in his best fit for Auto Club tomorrow night. When he goes for a championship in the Cup Series over this Gemini Racing number 75. His day done. Colton Lane also involved. Nicky Morris in his second crash of the day. John Dilks involved as well. The 22 blowing up. That was not from crash damage. It just blew up on him. Heartbreaking for Maxwell Fay. He will be leaving the team next season. There are rumors in the garage area that the 32 seat has been signed for next year, but it is a partial entry thing, though the team has not. Revealed who it is. They have said it is a current Truck Series driver going over to that race team. Rest of the field coming on down. A lot of damaged trucks on pit road. This could be a big stop here. 28 laps in, you're entering you're nearing the end of the fuel window. You need some fresh tires on it. We'll see what these guys do. I'd say 4 tires and fuel is the call here. You last pit on lap 12 if you came down. That's 16 laps on a very beat up and worn racetrack that beats up tires. Eat some for breakfast as they come down. Vince Freeze is going to lead these guys off of pit road with Christian Vargas, so that's some strategy right there. And Antoine's going to beat Eaves off of pit road. A big move there by the 00 to get some track position on the 48. Roger Ray, a long pit stop for the 90 team, might be repairing a little bit of damage to that truck. He's going to drop to near the back. And there they come off of pit road. So we're under caution for the 3rd time today here at Atlanta. We'll see how many more we get. This is the big one, though, that we've seen so far. Big incident here. Austin Johnson, Christian Vargas, they're going to make contact heading into turn number 1. Vargas goes right into the back and through the 77. He comes back down the track, and that's where it goes wrong. The 24, 97, 27, a lot of trucks start piling in. Some heavy damage to the 57, 77, 24. Their days are done. On board with the 24 back here. He's alongside Matt Sladek, has really nowhere to go. Trying to follow his teammate McShane through. McShane gets through. The 24 truck does not heavy damage to that team. But Austin Johnson getting hooked here in front of the field. It's a big crash and pretty much definitely solidifies he will be 10th in the standings for the chase. A horrible chase run for Austin Johnson, capping off with a crash here at Atlanta. Also ahead of it, John Dilks gets turned by Stephen Wallace Jr., sent into the wall. William Duncan piles in. A lot of trucks involved today. The big ones strike here at Atlanta. Back live here at Atlanta. Christian Vargas leads with Vince Freeze 2nd. Those two took 2 tires on their pit stop calls. Eric Monaco 3rd. Antoine Smith 4th. Matthew Eaves in 5th. That's Francois Chastain in 6th in that 0-1 truck. Daniel Cobbs is 7th. Riley Spurley 8th. Aiden Smith 9th. Dusty Neal up to 10th in the 96. Zach Rogers 11th. Bree McShane. Matt Sladek. Larry Hagan. Alex Peters is 15th. Stephen Wallace Jr. 16th. 17th, Eli Bright. 18th, Zachary Fitzwater. Cordell Smith, 19th. Diego Yepes, 20th. Not many trucks left in the grid. Ryan Butcher does get the Fago free pass for that caution. He's back up to 27th, so still has a shot. 13 trucks now out of this race. 4 have been from mechanical, or 3 have been from mechanical failures. The 94, 11, 35. 46 was in a crash earlier. The rest of them are from that most recent 2 crashes that happened. So a lot of trucks are out of this one. Shortens that field a bit. That will for sure eliminate Stephen Wallace Jr. from championship contention. That makes it much harder for Alex Peters, Perez, and Monaco to get up there. Ryan Butcher, it helps him a bit because now he has less trucks to pass, but we'll see how this goes. Christian Vargas going to Texas Star Racing next season. Pretty much filling in. He will be the replacement for Eli Bright at that team next year. So we'll see what that will be. He will be bringing the number 08 over as Joseph Strigley will be taking his ride over here in the Crown Royal Truck Series. Sauber Racing Team reached out to a road course veteran like they have a lot of times in the NSDCA. Of course, Matty Porta, Alex Crafts being the stepping stone of this race team. He and Vince Freeze took the strategy to get out in front. We'll see how long they can stay there with 3 hungry chase contenders behind them. Green flags back in the air, and we're racing again at Atlanta. Immediately, Antoine Smith jumps to the inside. Vargas, super slow, is going to hold up Monaco, and that is going to bring the 00 from 4th to 1st in one corner as the 60 and 08 real slow back there on those older tires. Eaves now 3 wide with these guys. Monaco all over the back of the 08 truck looking for that spot. And now it is Antoine Smith versus Matthew Eaves out in front. This could be how we see it coming down to the line at Kansas, but we're going to see a title fight right here for as many points as they can. Now Antoine got that lap led. If the 48 gets the lap led, it cancels out that point pretty much, and it is a 3-point swing from 1st to 2nd. If Eaves can hang on over Smith, that'll put it to 12 points, heading in to the chase, but also Eaves is fighting for that most laps led. He has some laps led in the bank. If he can lead some more, he can get an extra bonus point as Monaco and Kobza almost clang together back there. There's Spurley Tube in 28. These slower trucks on the older tires are now starting to drop through the field. There goes Dusty Neal in that truck. Got a lot of trucks still in this field left as Eaves is out in front. Vargas trying to hang on. Now it looks like he's gotten up to speed. Maybe the tires are definitely warming up a bit, but still costing him and Freeze a lot of time as they're dropping right to the back of this front group. But it looks like McShane and Rogers might have taken 4 tires because they are still maintaining some speed, and they could have some runs at a top 10 today. Francois Chastain back there in 11th. Alex Peters up to 13th. Might have been a truck around. Yeah, it is Larry Hagan at the back. Hagan goes around. Anderson Reed's part of it. So that's going to take even more trucks out of this one. Some heavy damage to the 63 and to the 25. And we're under caution yet again. The 4th time in 34 laps here at Atlanta. Will we get a clean race ever at Atlanta? Will we get some green flag action? We'll just have to wait and see. Matthew Eaves out in front, though, in that 48 truck. We'll see if anyone decides to come down pit road. I think at this point could be the money stop, as Antoine's going to actually split. We see split strategy already up here with these top 8 guys. So this is going to be big in the final run here, the 48 and 00. Though with how we've been seeing cautions, haven't really had much of green flag racing. I think this might be a pretty good call for them to make. Kobza actually, it looked like Kobza was going to stay out. He and Monaco are going to come in instead because they were on that outside line coming on around. They're going to jump down and make that pit call there. Good for Vargas and Freeze. They're actually going to keep that track position if they take those tires, unless some of these guys just come down to top off on fuel, which could be the strategy here. Coming to 30 to go could be the move for the fuel because there are only 5 guys that stayed out on track. No one is a lap down. No one will receive the free pass, but we're already out 15 trucks in this race. 1 crash took out about 9 of them. We've had a couple mechanical failures, and now we have these guys coming back out. There you see Christian Vargas. He's going to lead them out. Cordell Smith right there. No, Monaco's going to be the first one out. Cordell Smith jumps up some spots, so now these guys are going to be racing pretty fun now. So you see the 00 coming off pit road. Rest of the field coming on off. Alex Peters dropping back. Ryan Butcher, so they're going to have to gain a lot of spots here if they want to get by the 48 or the 00. Only 5 trucks stayed out. We'll cover that when we come back to racing here at Atlanta. Coming down this back straightaway, getting aggressive back here for just outside the top 15. Hagan and Yepes are going to be the ones clanging together here. And it just spins that 25 up into the wall. Yepes, a great save by him, but comes right back down into Anderson Reed. Reed's just barely not going to spin into the 47 and 19, but both of these guys' days pretty much done. Anderson Reed has taken that truck behind the wall. Back live here at Calamity Corner, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Matthew Eaves is your race leader. Riley Spurley-Tube second. Matt Sladek third. Stephen Wallace Jr. fourth. And Roger Ray fifth. The only 5 that stayed out under this caution. Eric Monaco 6th. Vargas 7th. Cordell Smith 8th. Aiden Smith 9th. Zach Rogers in 10th. Chastain 11th. Bright 12th. Onjak 13th. Antoine Smith 14th. Yepes 15th. Freeze in 16th. Kobza 17th. Fitzwater 18th. 19th Turner. 20th McShane. Matthew Brown. Alex Peters, Ryan Butcher, Gatlin Downey, Dusty Neal, Larry Hagan, your 26 trucks left on this racetrack. 14 are out, 11 from crashes. And that was only in 2 crashes, really, that most of those guys were taken out in. So we'll see if we can get some green flag racing now that some of these guys, it's only been 2 or 3 laps since these guys came to pit road, these top 5. So maybe they won't have as much degradation, but what I'm seeing is if these guys came down and topped off on fuel, there's definitely a question about making it to the end of the race. So these 5 are banking on a strategy call here, and I think Eaves more likely just wanted to get away from Antoine Smith for a bit. Green flag's back in the air. Eaves out in front. He wants that clean air to pull away. I don't know if it's the older tires, but Roger Ray has not been hitting restarts that well today. Was dropped back early on the start of the race. Now Monaco jumps right to the outside. Matt Sladek is in this. That is an SBR guy. And don't forget, Spurley-Tube's not at TSR anymore next season. He's back at Sauber. Spurley-Tube sends it to the race lead. I think what he wants to see, he just wants to get himself into victory lane if he can. Another freaking caution, and it's Zachary Fitzwater. He was having such a good day. They get into him, and we are under yet another yellow flag here at Atlanta. And we'll see if any of these guys pit this time. You can probably save enough fuel on pit road now, or under caution now, because you just have to kind of run it around. Fitzwater should be okay to continue on, but that's heartbreaking. Really wanted to see him do good today. He was inside the top 20 for SimTech, a team that really needs a good run, especially with the 22 now out of the race. Heartbreaking for SimTech to see this truck torn up. And we'll see if this has some alternate strategy. I think we do. So now these guys are coming in, topping off. I'm pretty sure that is going to be the good call here to ensure you make it to the end. Monaco stays out. So the top 5 that didn't come in last time are now going to come in, including Cordell Smith, Vince Freeze, Peter Onjak, Jesse Turner. Those guys might just be coming in. A couple of those guys have damage at the back, but some of these guys might be coming in. You know, you're in 20th. You only got to beat about 20 trucks, really, instead of 40 like you do every week. So either of these strategies are definitely for guys trying to get their race wins, and we'll see how that goes. Matthew Eaves down pit road. A lot of these guys coming off pit road. Might have been just 2-tire calls for him. And it's going to cost Eaves is going for 4, so I think that's the smarter call for Eaves, though he'll only have 25 laps to drive back through the field. Those fresher tires are going to be very good for Eaves and Spurley, too. Both of those guys took those, as well as Sladek, so interesting strategy calls. Another crash, another caution. Fitzwater actually had a very poor restart. Actually got mugged by about 5 or 6 trucks here. Now he's 3 wide. You see Butcher on the inside. I'm wondering if Butcher got real aggressive. No, he's going to actually go by Butcher. It seems here, as they come down the back straightaway. It's Alex Peters who's getting aggressive, and he just goes right through Zachary Fitzwater, spins him into the wall. Not too much damage to the 32, should be able to continue. 5th caution of the day. 26 trucks still on the racetrack. It's Monaco in front with Vargas 2nd, Aiden Smith 3rd, Zach Rogers 4th, and Yepes up to 5th. Eli Bright 6th, Daniel Cobbs 7th, Francois Chastain 8th, Antoine Smith 9th, Priya McShane 10th. As they run with Eaves taking those 4 tires, Antoine currently leads the standings, but still a long way to go. Ryan Butcher up to 12th, Alex Peters 13th after that incident. See how that goes. The rest of the field. There's Spurley Tubin 21st, Eaves 23rd, Sladek 24th. Those 3 took 4 tires. We'll see how that comes into play. If we get green flag racing, that is. It's been a very crash-filled race at Atlanta. I guess we know why they left in the first place and did not return to the Cup Series. Though the Cup Series had a great race last year with Friesen and Curtis dueling it out for the win. This race, of course, is the Truck Series. It was clean to start the year. We had great Truck Series races, and now it's devolving into chaos in the chase. That's how we like it, though, in the NSDCA. Green flags back in the air. Monaco with a fantastic restart. That's going to be the 83 Aiden Smith jumping to the outside of Vargas. Really seeing a lot of guys missing shifts or screwing up on these restarts, which is very interesting to see here at Atlanta. Now you got Antoine Smith looking to the inside of Kobza. You got McShane in that mix as well. And that is the very aggressive run. As there you see Hagan. He has some damage from an earlier crash. Eaves flying up there. Spurley Tube as well. These two are going to be making pace real quick. They got to watch they don't run into anyone, as Antoine Smith is possibly getting taken 3 wide by McShane. If I was Antoine, I'd back out of that. But he just drives away from McShane, having a poor exit in that 2 truck. Eric Monaco out in front doing everything he needs to do to try to have a shot at Kansas. I think currently, as it is, I mean, that's a good amount of points ahead of Antoine, is pretty far ahead of Eaves. So if they finished like this, I think Monaco would be able to just barely have a shot heading into Kansas. Maybe would need Antoine to lose a couple spots, but it's not going to matter. Here comes Eaves in that 48 truck. Those 4 fresh tires, probably the right call with him and Spurley Tube making pretty short work of the field. Matt Sladek trying to get around as many trucks at the back as he can. Peter Onjak is down pit road in the 97 of brake failure, and we got to take a look at the minimum speed for the 32 truck. 194 into turn number 1 or turn 3 there for the race leader Eric Monaco, and 183. So Fitzwater's 10 miles per hour back. It's pretty far back, pretty far off, but he is meeting minimum speed, as we got an absolute war for 3rd on back. But look who's cleared into 2nd. That's Zach Rogers trying to hunt down Eric Monaco. Antoine's now going to get clear, so that's going to really screw him, because Antoine's a very fast truck. But Zach Rogers trying to get himself a race victory here at the end of the season, if he can do so before he moves to BGM next year. Another caution on track. They cannot stop crashing. And it's Vince Freeze and Dusty Neal this time going around at the back. And this one's on the back stretch. This wasn't even in the corner. This was actually on the back stretch. So this is kind of interesting here. An interesting place to crash, because they were on the inside wall. So we're under caution for yet another time here at Atlanta. But this one, a bit of an unusual incident. They're 3 wide back here. You see Sladek on the inside. There's Neal. 67's kind of checking everyone up. And Freeze just hooks into the 67 and spins into the 96, and those three all go spinning down to the apron. So that is a couple trucks spinning around. Definitely should have called the caution, but getting a little sick of these. Let's see if we can get a green flag around to the end. As we're running around here under caution, ignition issues. Take the 8 out. Another engine issue for a 4th Dodge this weekend. That has to be worrying for some of these trucks up in front. Kobza, Eaves especially, who's a bit further back. Rogers, Monaco. So these guys will have 15 laps to go in this race. Let's see what'll happen. Monaco and Rogers leading them down. Smith, Aiden Smith, Alex Peters, your top 5. Jose Perez has been the only chase contender taken out of this race so far. Everyone else has been just fighting for positions. 25 cars on the lead lap. 1 truck, 1 lap down. That's Peter Onjak, or 3 laps down. That's Peter Onjak, who came off pit road from his brake issue. No one came down pit road except the 8 to retire the truck. Green flags back in the air. Monaco continues to lead here at Atlanta. Antoine's going to drive right past Rogers, so Rogers' hope of a win probably going out right there as Monaco trying to pull away from the 00. A bit of a poor exit for the 4 as the 00 comes flying past him. And Antoine, if he wins this race, he gains points on the 48 truck. Little slow into the corner, though, as Yepes is up here in the 89, looking to get 2 top 5s in a row for Shepard if he can hang on in that 89 truck. Here comes Eaves and Spurleytube, though. Remember, they have 4 fresher tires than some of these guys by about 5 or 6 laps, I'd say. So these two could be the ones charging through the field. Spurleytube real slow into the corner with his teammate Christian Vargas right there. I think he just missed the corner. Monaco pulling away, trying to get as far away as he can, trying to race that 4 truck to its first win of the season. Tuange Autos, would that be their first win of the season for Auto? No, Jesse Turner won Daytona, and they haven't won since. The 44, the 4 are winless, the 46 is winless, and Monaco's looking for his first NSDCA victory today. Has absolutely launched away from the SBR duo in Antoine Smith and Aiden Smith. The other interesting thing, we've mentioned this a lot during the chase, is that Matthew Eaves is the owner of SBR with Brady Burkhart, so it's pretty much a win-win situation for Eaves, though I'm sure he wants to get that driver's title more so than the owner's title because he wants to prove to everyone who's called him names, who's called him slow over the years, that he can fight, but he still has to catch his own truck. And Antoine Smith up in front, the top 6 single file. Eaves back there in 7th fighting Spurleytube. Spurleytube still giving him a run for his money. There's Butcher in 10th. He's trying anything he can as Yepes starts to fall through the field. Field's a bit more spread out as well, thankfully, so maybe we can get a green flag run to the end. Now I just jinxed it with the announcer's jinx. We got a battle for the race lead coming around, 11 laps to go. Monaco trying to hang on over one of the best trucks this season in Antoine Smith. And don't even say that Eric Monaco hasn't been one of the best trucks this season either. Monaco, an average finish of 11th. The chase reset definitely hurt him. He was fighting near the front in the chase fight, in the points fight. But he's been up front a lot this season. 12 top 10s, second only to Matthew Eaves, tied with Spurleytube for most top 10s, and Spurleytube, or second most top 10s, and Spurleytube was the regular season champ as Antoine goes for the spot, but Eric Monaco going to do a crossover here. It's a dogfight for the race lead as they head back down into turn 1, but Monaco a bit slower on the inside. Little bit older tires, I think, than the 00 as Antoine's going to absolutely rock it away. Here comes Eaves, and look at Alex Peters throwing his hat in the ring. Monaco, Peters, and Ryan Butcher are pretty much out of the championship fight now. If they cannot get the 00 and 48 to finish outside of the top 15 at this point, they're right now 1st and 4th. With it coming down to 9 to go, so it looks like that'll be the end of the championship fight. It'll be the 00 versus the 48. And as they run, Antoine, that's 3, 5, 7 points gained on Matthew Eaves as they run right now. If Eaves was to finish 4th, would make it a 2-point gap heading into Kansas, but Eaves is going to not let him run away with that easily. He has slightly fresher tires than the 00, but has he cooked them? Trying to get through the field, him and Spurleytube back there. Aiden Smith fighting for a top 5. Rogers fighting for a top 10. The rest of the field is just fighting for any position they can. Antoine Smith is out in front. Monaco 2nd. Eaves dogfighting just trying to get past this 45. Cannot get it done. Peters defending strong on the outside. The top 4 are Chase contenders. These are probably 4 of your best trucks this season. The Chase definitely rewards those who get hot at the right time and punishes those who have struggles at the wrong time. And that's what really happened to Alex Peters. Had a crash, I believe, at Michigan. No, not Michigan. It was he had a crash at one of the Chase races that pretty much took him out. He's about to have a crash there as Matthew Eaves sends it into the side of the 45. Eaves is getting real aggressive. Matthew, you do not want to anger anyone on this racetrack, because at Kansas, we've seen what guys in the Truck Series will do at Kansas, and that was what Brandon Morris did to try to get Burkhart into victory lane, as Monaco is slow, not bringing it to pit road, just really did not have a good run through the corner, might have gotten sideways, and now Antoine, that's not what he wanted to see, is the 48 breathing down his neck with just 5 laps to go next time by. A second gap between the 00 and 48. We'll see if Eaves can catch him with Alex Peters. Monaco fighting behind. Eaves definitely had a poor 1 and 2. Spurley Tube trying to at least get a top 5. That would be his 9th of the season, putting him up there with Antoine Smith and Matthew Eaves as the top 3 with most top 5s this season. Antoine Smith out in front. 5 to go as Eaves is trying to catch. He's fallen back, though, by 4/10 that lap. He has to hit turn 1 much better as Antoine's a bit low there. Monaco's going to take 3rd. Spurley Tube's clearing to 5th. Cobbs and Butcher coming up here. And if you thought that the Chase was not the best 10 trucks, well, it might not be. Austin Johnson's really been struggling this Chase. But if you think the Chase is not the best 10 trucks of the season, look at the top 7 right now. As Aiden Smith might fall to Ryan Butcher, it's all Chase contenders. In this top 5, top 6 might be top 7. Stephen Wallace Jr. back there in 10th is also a Chase contender. So the Chase definitely has some of the best trucks in the grid. That's why it's good that the top 8, that 8 positions, the majority, I should say, of the positions in the Chase are guaranteed by points. It's got to be the fastest trucks of the year. And that's what it is right now. Fighting for the championship is the top 2 in this race. They've had 7 of the 18 wins this season have been them combined, which pales in comparison to the Cup Series guys. But when you consider how many individual winners we had this year, we only have 4 repeat winners. We have Alex Peters in the 45 truck. Actually, we only had 3 repeat winners. It was Alex Peters with his 2nd win in Chicagoland, and these 2 who have 7 wins combined, looking for 8 today as Eaves is catching up to Antoine steadily. It might be a duel here at the end. We'll see how clean Eaves will make it with those 4 fresh tires. He needs to get that race lead so he doesn't lose points to the 00. It's a 3-point swing right here as Eaves looks to the inside. Side by side for the lead with those fresher tires on the 48 truck. Here they go. 2 laps to go. Antoine's going to defend on the outside. Looking for Matthew Eaves there. Spurley Tube's up to 3rd. Does the 28 have anything? I don't think he does unless these guys get really aggressive for that top spot. Eaves falls back, but he's going to gain a bunch of time. It's going to be a 1-lap dash here to the finish between the top 2 in the championship fight, looking to see who will have the advantage heading into Kansas. Antoine looking for his 4th win. Eaves looking for his 5th. Side by side for the race lead, almost into 1. Eaves gives up. He's definitely setting up for turn 3. A big run coming off of turn number 1. No, he will not. A bit of lost momentum coming off of turn number 1 and 2 right there down the back straightaway. This will be your fight into Kansas. These 2 have been the class of the field all season. Antoine throws a final block. Eaves cannot get there. 4th win of the year for Antoine Smith. It's going to be a 5-point gap at Kansas. Smith wins at Atlanta. Aiden Smith, Matt Sladek going to come out with top 10s. The rest of them being Chase contenders. Jose Perez out of it. Everyone else is out of the championship fight except for Eaves and Antoine. Antoine winning this race gives him a 3-point advantage onto Eaves. That puts him to 6. And I believe with that run there at the end, I believe Antoine should have taken the most laps led bonus, which should put it to 5 points. If not, it's 6. And with how these guys have been running, if you're looking at the top 15, as we said this year, it's 2-point gap between each of the top 15 positions, except for the race win. That is 3 positions at Kansas that Antoine needs to finish ahead of Eaves. But if we saw today, and if we saw during this chase, Eaves can start 40th in this race, and he might be there at the end to contend. Kansas finale was a crapshoot last year. This year they're turning it back today. The nighttime does something to the track that really makes it a hassle for drivers to run on. During the day, it produces some of the greatest racing we've seen in the NSDCA. But Antoine Smith comes out with his 4th win of the season, tying Antoine Smith for that, or tying Matthew Eaves for that. They head to 15 and 12 top 10s apiece, and you got 12 top 5s for Eaves, 10 for Antoine. Spurley Tube, Monaco, and Alex Peters round out your top 5. Everyone else tried so hard to make it in the chase, but they have not had the consistency that the 48 and 00 have had. Their average finishes coming into this race were 8th and 9th respectively. Those are going to increase by a couple tenths there, especially with the 1st and 2nd place finish. A fantastic battle to the end is going to come down between Matthew Eaves and his driver Antoine Smith. Antoine trying to prove TSR wrong, that he did not need that TSR deal. And SBR comes out with their 4th win of the season. This is the year that SBR finally is getting into championship contending runs now. It's going to be a great run at Kansas. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.